What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of Michael Thoughts. And for this one, I'm just going to talk about all the different reasons why I decided to change what we were doing at the gym and how we were doing it, what the delivery was, um, and how I came to the thought, went through the process, and made those decisions. So, for years, we were doing large group workouts. We did CrossFit. We were affiliated with CrossFit for a while. We did things similar. It's always, since we started, was my interpretation and my coaching and my programming. We never bought a subscription to programming that somebody else was writing online, like a lot of gyms do. And the programming was never just random circuits or anything like that. It was always Michael's philosophy and my metrics using the principles. We always did it that way. And tons of people had a lot of success with how we were doing it, and it was a lot of fun. But everybody at some point, when they're in a group fitness environment, will run into a wall where they need to do things that are specific to them. They need to measure the variables that are unique to them. They need to measure the volumes. They need to adjust their program for exactly what they need. When you're programming for a large group, if the workout is right for one out of that group of 30, or when you write a workout for a group, it's going to be right for one out of those 30, and the other 29, it's going to be not quite right for. And when you're writing programming for large groups, most of the time it's probably not exactly right for any of them. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be lagging behind in the results that they could get if they were to do something specific to them. That's true all the time in group fitness. And what we ran into was there were too many people that had been training for too long and needed something more, but they're not able to get it in a large group, generic, and what I call choreographed fitness. Too many people started to need a real coach instead of a fitness instructor. And that's what people who lead large group CrossFit, Orange Theory boot camps, they're fitness instructors, not necessarily true coaches and true trainers that are getting involved. And it's not because they're not capable, it's just because it's impossible given the time and the volume of people. You can't really go in depth with each person in the way that you could in a smaller group setting. It's just the nature of large groups and time demands and whatever. And when you're programming for a group, you're going to have sections of people that are going to want to do higher level things. Some people are going to want to do more of one thing and less of another, and nobody's going to be necessarily perfectly happy. The level, no matter how much you scale, the level is never going to be quite right for a lot of people. And we had too many people that were stuck and needed something more, but I was unable to give it to them in the environment that we had. That's why we switched to doing things much more individualized instead of the large group craziness. And I just sort of became disenchanted over time with the large group generic training, even though we did things other gyms didn't. Like, I built the tracks in that people could follow. The problem was it required more structure for people to truly learn and understand and adapt. It's just impossible to deliver what people need in that large group setting. But I didn't want to give up the large groups that we had in the social aspect and the atmosphere. So that's why we switched to doing much more individualized things. So everybody can still get the things that they want, the circuits, the metcons, the cardio in any capacity that they want, need, desire it, whatever. But now they're going to be able to get things that are more specific and unique to them. And in the first handful of months of executing things this way, the proof is in the results that people are getting. I had one person, I won't name names or show pictures on this video, but she'd been a member for 8 years and sent me the progress that she's made by switching to a protocol with significantly less cardio and no burpees and no metcons at all. And she was like, I got more progress in 3 months following this protocol than I got in 8 years of doing CrossFit. And that's the example of what we're talking about. That's a person who has reached their peak in the large group setting. They can't push past it until they get something that is specific to what they need. And as soon as they got it, the results came very, very quickly. And that's what will happen for most people, because you can build a program around their specific needs. And that's why we went to the individualized program. So now everybody's able to address their specific needs, but do so in a large group. You know, I could talk for a lot more hours on what it is, but that's really what it came down to. Is I got too tired of seeing too many people work too hard. Genuinely, everybody pushing themselves as hard as they can, but doing random group large group circuits just wasn't quite right for what they needed. And trying to coach them on that in a large group setting without giving them an individual program was a losing battle for me. I committed so much energy to try to teach you guys what to do in that large group setting. But again, modifying a group programming the best you can to fit your level is not the same as getting an individualized program specific to you that's going to give you the results. And that's what we did. We did specific programs to get it to you so that you didn't have to continue to hammer away at something and have a cheerleader pushing you, telling you to try harder and stick to it. And I consciously could not, teach some of you guys how to do kipping, pull-ups, and snatch, knowing that you didn't need to be working on those things at that point in time, and working on them was never going to get you to what your actual end goal was. And that is energy. That's an energy vampire to me. It would just suck my energy away, getting stuck in situations where people were so worried about modifying how to do snatch and how to do muscle ups when they had much more pressing, urgent goals, and the snatching and muscle ups was never going to actually reach them there. Or people that would run into the toxic exercise dependency, where they were so dependent on doing circuits when I knew it was the thing that they didn't need to do. And no matter how much I would try to convince people that in a large group setting that to do something different, it just wasn't the right environment. And if we didn't switch the environment and switch the delivery and switch the programming, people were never going to be able to break that toxic exercise dependency. So if you're going to a gym and you're doing burpees 3 days per week and you're doing workouts with hundreds of burpees, you know that is nonsense trash, and it's never actually going to get you to your goal. And we had to break that. And I spent years teaching you guys about what burpees are and what levels to do and how to modify them and what's appropriate, but without breaking out of that culture of run yourself into the ground every day, without just destroying it, obliterating it, whatever. We were never going to get there. And that's what I needed to do. And everybody's gotten huge progress because of it. And then when you're doing circuits and you're pushing yourself as hard as you possibly can every single day, not only is it wrong and not going to get you there, but you're mostly just accumulating a whole bunch of trash volume in the process, because it's not actually quality sets at a high enough relative intensity to stimulate the strength gains and muscle gains that you want. All it's doing is prolonging your ability to recover from it. And I knew that was wrong for a lot of you, specific to your goals, is trying to convince you of what to do to actually get there. And again, modifying large group generic programming just never quite hits the delivery and gives you the end result that you actually need. And at this point, every single person that's been executing the protocol physically has made amazing changes. We've introduced the individualized nutrition to an extreme level, and those that are executing that are getting even better results. And the proof's in the pudding. Everybody's doing so much better. Those that are doing a mixed protocol that has something and Metcons at the same time, the people that are doing the Metcons are setting PRs on every single one of our benchmarks by a mile. Like, we had somebody just the other night tell me that they did a heavier version of DT than they ever have before and shaved 90 seconds off of their time. 90 seconds, which is like a 15% improvement for them, which is insane. 15% is absolutely absurd in terms of the total time capacity that they committed to it, but they also did it heavier. And it was the first Metcon they had done in a very long time. It's like, well, that's what we're doing. Not doing Metcons all of the time is a better strategy to get better at Metcons than just doing Metcons all the time. And we had a lot of people get stuck in the exercise racing. The ego would hold them back because they needed to do better in the exercise race, which was just complete nonsense. I find it hard to believe that anybody who came in with more than 20 pounds to lose and wanted to feel better, feel healthier, look better naked, I find it hard to believe that any of them actually cared about their ability to exercise race. And when exercise racing scores became a priority over health and how you feel and how you look, I knew it was wrong, and it became so toxic. It was going on for too long, and we had to stop it. We had to do something that was actually going to give you what you wanted and create true transformations to get to the end result. If you do see people that are just doing something like CrossFit or Orange Theory and getting that dream body that you are trying to do the same program to get for them, from what you see, there's only two things are possible. One, they're super lucky in that the programming, they fit directly into it. They have a really good history. It was exactly what they needed at that time to get there. And that's, less than 1% of 1% of people are actually going to get there from doing some generic group fitness thing. It just doesn't happen. Those that appear to be at your gym or our gym that are getting that, there's a 100% chance they're also doing a crazy high volume outside of just the regular Metcons and circuits, or they're not doing Metcons and circuits every single day. They're supplementing with something else, or they're committing double the time where they are doing different types of structures and individual prescriptions unique to them in order to make progress. For the most part, if you have a coach who is very successful, and this is universal, find them online, and you look at their program, there's probably a lot less randomness, a lot less circuits, a lot less cardio, and a lot less variety of exercises than you would believe. They're probably hitting 6 to 12 exercises on a phase over and over and over again for a very long period of time as they max out, and then they'll rotate them. It's probably pretty boring, and it's the same things over and over and over again with a very high level of frequency to get to the end result that they have. That's true of coaches that are jacked and shredded or super lean. That's true of coaches who are at a very high level of performance, whether it be somebody that's doing triathletes or somebody that's doing powerlifting championships or Olympic level weightlifting. And even if you have a coach or a trainer who does incredible at like the sport of fitness and CrossFit, chances are they're doing a lot of individual work and individualized programs outside of it. They're not just doing group randomness. It just simply doesn't work. And knowing that it doesn't work in the way that you need it to work, and knowing so much about you and your unique, specific individual goals, I just couldn't continue delivering something and being a cheerleader and trying to convince you to show up every single day when I knew it wasn't quite right with what you needed. But it was impossible to try to just tell you every single day what to do and write group universal programming that is perfect for each person. So for me, it was like I couldn't live with myself any longer, looking at myself in the mirror, trying to pretend like I'm a real coach when all I am is a fitness instructor coming up with group programming. And, you know, I like to think I was good at what I was doing at that point and that the programming was good and smart, but it doesn't really matter because I'm aware enough to know the limits of that. No matter how great I am at coaching and programming in a group setting, it will never actually deliver what a person needs. And anybody who does not understand that or believe that, they're just flat out wrong. It's impossible to cross that gap. And I've always known it, and I was trying to figure out ways to cross it. So maybe call it an epiphany, we'll call it burnout. But I was like, I can't consciously let people come in here, not address their nutrition the way that they need to, not address their programming in the way that they need to, not address the supplements and other crap that they're doing outside of it. Now with what we're doing, we're able to deliver on all of it. And people are learning more, they're feeling better, they're looking better, they're getting much better results aesthetically, burning more fat, building more muscle. Everybody looks good, everybody feels good, and they're setting personal records on all of their metrics, both strength and metcons. And those that are doing the cardio are also improving in their cardio for half marathon, triathletes. It's incredible. The changes are incredible. And we have a lot more coming. There's a lot more unique protocols, both for training and nutrition. There's a lot more lessons coming. What I have in mind for 2022 is incredible. We're building on this new model and this new vision, and it is what the X Project is always supposed to be. I started X Project, and X Project was supposed to be your project. So for me, it's the Michael Project. And to get from point A to point B, whatever my dream end goal is, there's a million ways that we can get there. The principles, 10 to 12 principles, are universal. But creatively, we can express them in an infinite number of ways. And the idea was always that we would create an individual, unique program that you loved, that was what you wanted to do. You were excited to show up every single day. You were having fun. You were feeling good, and you were going to get to your dream goal. And whether that was to bench or a squat and deadlift 500 pounds and do a triathlon at the exact same time, or just you wanted to be one simple thing, it doesn't really matter. The X Project was your project, your unique program, and your unique experience to create anything that you wanted. But I got pushed, and I allowed myself to get pushed into group fitness and CrossFit because it was fun and exciting, and I thought that that was the right route to go. But it was never the vision, it was never the purpose, and it was never right. And I let it go for far too long. Now what we're doing is delivering the X Project. Everybody has a unique protocol specific to them that is growing and adjusting to their lifestyle. And as you continue to grow through phases and your protocol evolves, it will become more and more your project. More, mine would be the Michael Project. And the longer I stick to it, the more unique it becomes, the more specific it becomes, the more creative it becomes. And that's what we do. X Project, it's your project, your unique individual experience and program to create that whatever perfect end result that it is, but done in a sustainable way that you want and are happy to do forever. You could eat super clean and diet forever and do circuits 6 days a week if you wanted to put your head down and willpower your way through it. But not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to eat burritos and lift some weights and go for walks or whatever. And when we do it this way, that's unique to you, we're able to deliver on whatever it is. So now we are aligning with the true vision of what X Project was always meant to be. Unique, individualized programs, specific metrics, and infinite creativity. And switching from large group circuits, randomness, hardcore, run yourself into the ground, CrossFit stuff, switching away from that to the true purpose of the X Project has given me new life and new energy and reinvigorated my passion for being in there. And I like to think that has translated in the experience that people are having and the results that they're getting. And I know the coaches are all about it and they're loving it. The members are loving it. And that's really where we were and why we are where we are now. So I have no idea how long this video is. And there's a million more things I can go that get into it. But that's it. That's why I changed the gym. That's what we're doing. And that's where we're heading. So ask questions. Let me know your thoughts. Good luck.